over there. And I've heard like before the Barsana temple, many people used to go there and it was really famous. Even now it is, but now the crowd is sort of distributed. Okay, so now we'll start with the pastimes. So basically for Radharani's appearance, there are 3 pastimes, and that's because they happen in different kalpas. So like whenever they come, so mostly everything is same, but there are just minute changes and differences. So first one is Radharani appeared in a lotus flower. And as you can see, her eyes are closed, and we'll come to her closed eyes later on. But so what happened was, so her parents were Vishbhanu Maharaj and Kirtida. So one day Vishbhanuji, he was like bathing in the Jamuna ji, and then he sees this big size lotus flower come towards him, and it was like shining and glowing. It was all gold, and it had like around thousands of petals. And then he sees inside, and then there is our little Radharani in that, nicely sleeping. So that is how she was found, like she appeared. And if we see, it's very similar to Sita ji, like Radharani, not even one of the 3 pastimes, like she's just coming in a very different way. She didn't take birth as such. Like if you all know, like Sita ji also came from the ground. Her father was plowing the field. So it's something similar. So this is the first pastime. It is like the one that most people know. And the second one is, yeah, so just a minute, I'll hide the controls. Okay. So second one is chanting of Harinam by Vishbhanu Maharaj. So Vishbhanuji, he was in his previous birth, or maybe he was a form of Surya Dev, because Bhanu means Surya. And before manifesting on the earth, he prayed to Krishna, Lord Hari, that please can I get Golokeshwari as my daughter? And then God was really happy, and then he blesses him that okay, your desires will be fulfilled. And then come to the time when Krishna and everyone's about to come. So Vishwanuji and Kirtida, they are praying, they are doing a lot of austerities mainly. And, but even then, they're not getting any child. And so they do a lot of austerities. They pray to Katyani Devi. And then one day Devi, she comes and she tells him that why you do austerities? That's to purify yourself. But without the Harinam, our ears or our soul, nothing can be purified. So you should take Harinam. You should accept the Harinam from someone. So then Vishwanuji, he goes to Kratumuni's ashram, and he is also near Jamuna river, like on the banks of Jamuna, he had his ashram. And then he takes the mantra, and then he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he keeps chanting, and then one day he's again chanting on the banks of Jamuna ji, and then again Katyani Devi, she appears. She's like, what do you want? He's like, you know my desires, so please, if you could, please fulfill them. So she gives him a golden oval box, and which is again shining, because of course, like Radharani will come from the box, so it's shining like her, like molten gold. So then he takes the box to his home, and then they keep chanting, both the mother and the father. And then on the day of Radha Ashtami, Radharani appears, and when she's born, she looks like a champaka flower, which is again bright yellow in color. So this was the second pastime, that how Harinam can bless us, and they got blessed. And the third one, okay, so this one is a bit detailed, so we'll be just touching it a bit, and then at the end there's one reference, so it's in a form of a nice dialogue, so it would be nice if you all want to read it. So basically Lalit Madhav, in that book, Rupa Goswami, he's told that how all the gopis there, and even the queens, are actually expansions of Radharani, and it's in a form of play, the entire book. So there are like a lot of dialogues in that, and it starts from Vrindavan and it takes you all the way to Dwarka. And also he's mentioned that every gopi is identical to one queen. And even when we were reading Krishna books, so some Prabhuji's also mentioned that how gopis and the queens, they are same. So yeah, for this more details we can maybe discuss later. But the story is like, so it actually begins at Lord Shiva's wedding. So what happens is, so Lord Shiva's wife is Parvati ji, and who's her father? That's Himalaya Parvat. So, and there's another Parvat called Vindhya Parvat. So he sees this and he's like, he's like, oh, he got such a nice son-in-law, Lord Shiva. Even I want a very good son-in-law. Then he prays to Lord Brahma that please bless me with a daughter. And so first of all, Brahmaji is like, he's surprised. Why do you want a daughter? Like mostly people come to him like they want a son. He's like, I want a daughter so that I can get a son-in-law who's very powerful and who can even defeat Lord Shiva. And then Brahmaji, being as kind as he is, so he grants him the benediction. But after granting, he's like confused. He's like, now how to sort of actually fulfill his desire, because who's more powerful than Lord Shiva? That's Krishna. And who's the eternal consort of Krishna? That's Radharani. So for everything to happen, Radharani should take birth from Vindhya Parvat's wife's womb. But Radharani's eternal mother is Kirtida. So, you know, like you all remember, right, that whenever we read about Damodar Leela, we always mention that Yashoda Maya is the eternal mother of Krishna. It's not like any devotee can do austerities and then somehow become Yashoda Maya. She's like, just like how Radharani is eternally with Krishna, similarly Yashoda Maya is with him. In the same way, even Kirtida is Radharani's eternal mother. So how to make someone else her mother or something? So then Lord Brahma, he prays to Radharani. And then Radharani tells him that she'll take care of it. So now we'll jump to the current situation when everyone's about to manifest on earth. So that time, Radharani and even Chandravali Sakhi. So basically in Lalit Madhav, it tells the story of all the 8 different Sakhis, but we won't be discussing that, but it will just become too convoluted. So even Chandravali Sakhi was her cousin. So she was in her aunt's womb and Radharani was in Kirtida's womb. And then Yogmaya Devi, she transfers them to the womb of Vindhya Parvat's wife, just like how Balramji was transferred. So this happens and then they take birth. So the desire is fulfilled that their daughter, like Vindhya Parvat's daughter, is Lord Krishna's eternal consort. So the whole point of being stronger than Lord Shiva and the son-in-law part, that is taken care of. But now Radharani, she has to reach back to her Vraj. So how will that happen? So in that, again, Yogmaya Devi. So remember when she tells Kansa that Krishna has taken birth and he'll kill you and everything. So at the same time, she also tells him that 8 Shaktis have taken birth. And out of them, the 2, that's Radharani and Chandravali, they'll be known for their qualities and they're very special. And whosoever will marry them, he'll become Rajeshwar or someone who can even defeat Lord Shiva. And Kansa couldn't tolerate that anyone, more powerful than him and this and that. So there were 2 instructions given to Putna. One was to kill the male childs and to abduct the female childs. So female children. So he does that, she does that. And so Vindhya Parvat's both the daughters, they're kidnapped. But then they are Brahmins and Vindhya Parvat requests them to chant and just speak some japas and mantras. Because of the chanting, Putna becomes weak. So she drops Chandravali Sakhi into a water body, and most probably Jamnaji, but I'll check my facts. So, and then Chandravali Sakhi is taken by the king of Vidarbha, and after 5 years she comes back. And for Radharani, so Putna herself, she falls down in Vraj because she becomes so weak by the time. And then Puranmashi Devi, and Puranmashi Devi is someone who arranges the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So she takes Radharani and then she makes sure that she reaches back to her eternal mother and father Kirtida in Raval. So yeah, this was the third pastime of how was she born. Okay, so next. Yeah, now remember we were talking about the lotus flower and how her eyes were closed. So what happens is, Radharani, her eyes were closed. She didn't want to see anyone before Krishna. And so because their parents were friends, so when she was born, so Yashoda Maya and Nand Baba, they came to visit them. And when they came, so Krishna, he was very small, but he crawled all the way to her cradle, and then he touches her eyes. And when he touches her eyes, so she like wakes up, and then she sees him for the first time, and everything becomes nice and happy. So yeah, this was like Radharani's devotion, that she didn't want to see anyone else, and she kept her eyes closed for so long. So this is just because we were discussing so much about Radharani's birthplace. They are the little villages where her friends were born. So they are like very close to Barsana, like Lalita Sakhi's birthplace, like 3 kilometers too. So just wanted to mention them because it's just pretty interesting to visit the smaller temples in those places sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll come to Barsana. So as we discussed that her parents and Radharani along with her parents, they moved to Barsana. So we'll see 1 or 2 places in Barsana, and this is the Shriji temple. That's also like the palace of Radharani. And yeah. Okay, so first we'll begin with Sankri Khor. So Sankri means narrow, and Khor is like whatever this junction is between the 2 mountains or hills. So this between 2 hills, Brahma Hill, Vishnu Hill, and they are again representing Radha Krishna due to their color, light and dark and so on. So what happens, and now if you see, it's very narrow, so only 1 person can go at a time, and if you block someone, they can't go. It's very easy to block someone on this path. So Krishna and friends, one day, they dress up as ministers and they decide to collect tax from the gopis. And tax is what? The makhan and all the milk products that they are carrying in their pots. So then what happens is, so they're like, okay, we are ministers and we're going to collect tax from you. And like they have even dressed up as ministers, but Krishna's flute is hidden somewhere around his waist, and he, of course, he didn't give up his peacock flower. So then gopis, they identify him. They're like, oh, you're Krishna, just trying to fool us. And then the game is over. So, and then they're like, and why should we be paying tax? You should pay tax because the forest belongs to Radharani. She's the queen of Vrindavan. And you and your friends, you graze your cows, you eat food here, you make it dirty, you have all the fruits and leaves and everything, so you should pay us tax. And then Krishna and friends, they got very irritated and frustrated, like in their transcendental way, they got irritated or whatever. So then they broke their pots. So this is Krishna breaking the pots. And also he's like dressed up with all the authority that, oh, I'm this minister, come to collect the tax and stuff. So then Radharani was furious. She's like, what is this? How dare he do this? So then the next day they make another plan. So this time they made sure that the gopis were large in numbers. So there were like thousands of gopis and only 30 or something gopas. And then they take garlands and then they tie their tufts. That's like the shikhas they had, because those days the kids had the shikhas. So they tied it with the rocks and the trees and everything. And then, so then Krishna is like, oh God, his friends are tied now, what to do? So then he surrenders to Radharani. He's on her feet. He's like, please forgive me. And he's just praying. Then Radharani is like, no, not this way. You have to swap roles. So all the gopas dressed up like gopis and gopis dressed up like gopas. And then ask for forgiveness. And then this happened. And Krishna, maybe he was forgiven, that I don't know. But this is only like one day, like Radharani's team won. So, but it used to happen every other day. So sometimes team A won, sometimes team B used to win. So this happened. And also regarding the temple, Radha Dan Bihari temple, so the locals there, they say that even the deities, they're actually the other way around. Radha is Krishna and Krishna is Radha, because they swapped roles. So that is just one interesting observation there. Okay, so yeah, maybe whenever you all want, you can just know more about different days of Dan Leela where different things happen. So yeah. Okay, now we'll go to Pili Pokhar. So Pili means yellow and Pokhar is like a small pond. So how the story begins is that we know Durvasa Muni. We are scared of him. Like people are scared of him, but for us, he's just one of the best people ever, because only because of him, Radharani used to go to Krishna's house to cook. That's because he blessed Radharani that whatever food she cooks, no one will get sick, and they'll live a very healthy life. And most importantly, like she can cook a new dish every day. I mean, that's so cool. So whenever we pray or we try to cook, it's good to pray to Radharani that so that the food gets better and we can serve Krishna. And so yeah, and then Yashoda Maya, she hears this, that oh, Radharani has got this new benediction. So she's like, can you make food for my Krishna? Because Yashoda Maya wants the best for Krishna. So she's like, okay, make food for him. And Radharani, of course, she's more than happy to do that. And then she goes to Maya's house and every day she cooks and it happens, life goes on. But one day Yashoda Maya is like, this is so nice that she comes and cooks. So what if she becomes my daughter-in-law? Then she's very happy with the idea. And she tells Radharani that, will you marry Krishna? So Radharani, of course, she was very elated, but she has to act all poised and serious. So she's like, no, I have to ask my parents and so on. So Maya is like, fine, you can ask them. But like Yashoda Maya, she was so emotional that she'd put some turmeric on Radharani's hands. And there was this thing like, if you put turmeric on the girl's hands, so she's like engaged to be married. So basically that's done by the mother-in-law. So Yashoda Maya did everything. And then Radharani, again, she's like very happy because Maya explained her that what does this signify. So then she goes back to Barsana, but on her way from Nandgaon to Barsana, her friends, they accompany her. And then she's like, they ask her that, what is this? So then they're like, she tells them the entire story. And they're like, oh God, no, Radha, you're too young to get married. And you've not even asked your parents. You can't do this. So she's like, then she gets worried, peer pressure. So then there's this little pond there nearby and she washes her hands. And so when she's washing her hands, like, of course, the turmeric goes away. But, she's just thinking of Krishna and she's like, I wish that she could marry Krishna. And she was like, just thinking that if she could stay with Krishna forever. And when she's washing, even because she's like Tapta Kanchan and she's like molten gold color. So like the entire pond is becoming yellow and golden. And because of that, the pond became golden yellow in color. and that's why it's called pili poker. And even today there's this little yellow tinge, but I mean in the picture it's not that visible, but that's how it is. So yeah, that was pili poker. Now we'll go to the next place. Okay, so next place is Nandgaon. And here, this is just Nand Baba's Bhavan and the deities. And this is Ter Kadam, and we'll be only particularly discussing Ter Kadam now. So now we'll come to some of the pastimes where Radharani is blessing her devotees. So why the place is called Ter Kadam in the first place? That's because Krishna used to call his cows here. And Ter or Tereya, something that means to call, and Kadam is the type of a tree. Then Krishna used to call the cows, and so in the same place, Rupa Goswami, he had his bhajan stali, and he was always busy in his bhajan, so he didn't go a lot for madhukari, that's like collecting food. But one day his brother, Sanatan Goswami, was about to visit him. So, but he had this little desire, I wish I could cook some sweet rice for my brother. But then because he didn't have the ingredients, so he was like, okay, what to do? But then a little girl comes to him. She's like, oh, Swamiji, please accept this rice and milk and sugar. So my mother has sent it and something, and she told him some story. And then he's like happily he accepted, and he cooked the rice, and then he's like, okay. And then his brother comes, they eat happily. But then Rup Goswami tells this story that, I had this desire that I wanted to serve you, but I didn't have the ingredients, and then a girl got them. Then Sanatan Goswami is like, oh God, why didn't you recognize our Radharani? That was Radharani, and she came for us to serve us. So they were really happy with this, but they were also a little sad that Radharani had to serve them the other way around. But this is how she takes care of her devotees. And even today, in the same temple, you get the sweet rice prasadam just to celebrate the pastime. Yeah, so that was Ter Kadam. And now is I think it's the last place, that's Radhakund. So for Radhakund, first we'll just start with some glorification of Radhakund. That is, so in Padma Puran, Krishna has said that how amongst all the gopis, Radharani is the dearest to him. Similarly, Radhakund is as dear to him. So because that Kund is Radharani's favorite, so that's why Krishna loves the Kund. And even Gauranga Mahaprabhu, so he was the one who discovered it, because after some time, actually he discovered a lot of places in Vrindavan and Braj, but because the kunds were lost, and so then Mahaprabhu, he wanted to search the kund, so he was chanting in under a tree, and then he sees both that time they're very small, so he sees the water bodies, and then he's like, no, this is my Radha Kund and this is Shyam Kund, and then he takes the water and he does tilaka from the clay of Radha Kund, and yeah, so that's how they were discovered. So now the appearance story. So we know that Krishna kills the demon Arishtasur, who was in form of bull. But for us, like, cow is holy, similar the male cow, that's the bull. Even you can't kill the bull and stuff. So then, okay, he killed the bull, and then later it's his Ras time and all. But then Radharani is like, no, I can't have Ras with you. Don't touch me. You have to wash off your sins because you killed the bull. And then Krishna is like, how should I do that? They're like, you have to bathe in every holy place of the world. So Krishna is like, I'm not going to leave Vrindavan for your whatever reasons you're giving. Then he's like, let me bring the holy places here. So with his heel, he like strikes the ground, and then he creates this kund for himself, and he summons all the holy places. So the holy water, everything is there in the kund. And then he washes off his so-called sins by bathing in that. But then Krishna, being Krishna, he starts bragging about his kund. Let's see, I created such a nice kund. I'm so whatever. Then Radharani, she didn't like this attitude. So she was like, okay, let me create my own kund. So with her kangan, that's like thicker bangle or something. It's like a metallic bangle. So with that, she and the gopis, they are like digging the place, and then they dug it, and then they created a small kund for themselves. But there was no water in the kund. So then Krishna is like, okay, you can take water from my kund. She's like, no, not required. I'm very independent. I don't need water from your kund. So they are bringing water from the girls, like the gopis and Radha, and they're bringing water from Mansi Ganga using their pots and stuff. Then, but then the holy places in Krishna's kund, they are praying to Radharani that please accept us. And then Radharani, then she showers a mercy on them, and then she accepts the water, and that's how the water comes in the kunds. So again, like, she's listening to her devotees, like even to Krishna she refused once, but when devotees they prayed, so she was very happily she accepted it. And regarding the color of the kund, so again the pictures won't depict it, but the side where there are some devotees, that's the Radha Kund, and the other side is Sham Kund. And again, the colors are Radha Kund is lighter and Sham Kund is a bit darker. And also, so because remember she made it with her Kangan, so Radha Kund later, I think by Raghunath Das Goswami, with the help of some other philanthropist, the Kund was, they added water and they maintained it and stuff. So, but actually inside it, there's a very small Kund that's called a Kangan Kund, which is the initial smaller size Kund that was created. So sometimes if they're replacing the water or something, then you can see a smaller Kund in that. So yeah, that is how Radha Kund appeared, and along with Sham Kund. So yeah, and now we were talking about Radharani and her devotees. So again, the story continues. So Raghunath Das Goswami used to live on the banks of Radha Kund, and around for 40-45 years he stayed there, and he used to love Radha Kund because of course Krishna loved it. Then but he didn't create any hut or any bhajan kutir as such. So he was nicely chanting, and every day under one tree he would chant, other day under another tree. And one day he was chanting, he was engrossed. So then Sanatan Goswami is just passing by, and then he sees that there are tigers around Raghunath Das Goswami. And then he also sees that Krishna is standing there to protect him and make sure that tigers do not harm him. And then Sanatan Goswami tells Raghunath Das Goswami that please make a bhajan kutir for yourself. See, Krishna has to serve you. It should be the other way around. Then he's like, okay, but somehow it gets postponed, the building of the bhajan kutir. So then the other day it's really hot and he's chanting and there's this scorching heat and summer and everything. And then Radharani, she comes and then with her veil, like the sari, the end of her sari, she's like putting it over his head. So, and herself, she's sweating and she's facing that sun, and just to protect her devotees and make sure that he's chanting nicely. Because she was like, he's chanting Krishna's name, so I should give him all the facilities. And again, Sanatan Goswami is passing by and he's like, now you have to build a hut. And of course, then Raghunath Das Goswami also, he builds his bhajan kutir. So this is like how in this case, Radharani herself, she's actually taking so much of pain and just making sure that the devotees can chant happily. So yeah. The next one. Okay, so this is about Radharani's braid. So Rupa Goswami is in Chatu Pushpanjali, he wrote this verse. I won't be pronouncing the verse for lack of good pronunciation, but basically the word Veni means braid. And if we see here, Radharani has this nice black braid, and Phanam is like the snake with a hood. So in this verse, they're describing that how she has this beautiful molten gold color, and we can see in the image like her hands are nice and golden, and she's wearing this dress which is like a blue lotus, and also her hair. They're saying that her long braid looks like that of a black serpent, and this was said by this was written by Rupa Goswami. And then Sanatan Goswami reading is like, oh God, why are you comparing our Radharani's braid with that of a snake? A snake is poisonous, and our Radharani is so nice and beautiful. So he wasn't happy. Then, so by the way, Sanatan Goswami was visiting both Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami in Radha Kund. So he was there for some time, and then one day he went to Radha Kund to bathe. And when he was bathing, then he sees like little at a distance some gopas and gopis, like little girls of Raj and boys, they were playing. So he's like, okay, cool. But then he sees behind the girl there's this big black snake, and he's worried. He's like shouting that girl to that girl. He's like, oh, listen, please, there's a snake behind you. But she's not listening. So he goes to that girl, and then because her back is towards him, so then he like whatever calls her, and then when she turns, so it's Radharani. So then he's like, oh, so that metaphor was correct, that her braid is actually like that of a black serpent. So in this story, Radharani, she kept the words of one of her devotee, and to the other devotee, she gives such nice darshans. And so, by the way, when he saw that it's Radharani, so Goswamiji, he was very confused, and the gopis and gopas, they had a very nice time. So they all were laughing together and stuff. So yeah, this is one of the pastimes of Radha Kund. Yes, so the pastimes are never ending, but we have to end. So it's just that there were so many places, and even the places we covered, there are so many more pastimes, and they're just so sweet. So we've not even touched Vrindavan, Govardhan, Javad, of course, the famous Chatila Kutila, but yeah. And now is the most important part, because these sources, they are so amazing. Like I just told flatly everything, but so Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj's lectures, they of course, because how Amrendra Prabhuji and Maharaj, the way they're saying the dialogue delivery, it's just full of honey. And also Maharaj's book, he's written 2 volumes on Radharani. So like I didn't read them, but I just went through the content. It's so beautiful. It's like everything from all the pastimes we hear, everything is in that. And I think every single sentence of that book will be just such a gem. So if you all want to, please read it. Like, it will really make your days whenever you'll be reading it. And also these two things. So this is Lalit Madhav. It's just like a 1 or 2 page web page thing, just to get more info on that, the whole thing, that how all the 8 girls were born. And finally, this lecture by Amrendra Prabhuji. So from this, there's no content in the slide, but it's such a beautiful lecture. Like, he's just telling how all the Goswamis are there glorifying Radharani, and he's singing these beautiful verses. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to give you all any task that watch this and anything, but just wanted that you should all experience the same sweetness that is in this content. So yeah, if you all want, then you can just see them and hear them. So yes, thank you so much. You've been really kind, and thanks to sir. Like, he gave me such a nice topic. I can't even think of even understanding Radharani, and you asked me to speak on her. Thank you so much for your kindness and patience. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was very well prepared. Thank you so much, Vrinda, for all the effort that you took. Any questions or comments? Anybody?
Yeah, I have like a curiosity about who was Puranmasi, and like how was the relationship between Radharani and Chandravali? Like they were friends, or like they were, what
Yeah.
was the, yeah.
So Puranmashi Devi, she was again a manifest. Of course, sir, then tell me, let me know if I'm wrong. But she was a manifestation of Yogmaya Devi. So remember we say that Vrinda Devi arranges the pastime of Vrindavan, but it's like Puranmashi Devi, she arranges it, and under her instructions, Vrinda Devi takes care of the forest and everything. So, and she also has some relation with Radharani in terms of whatever, the blood relation and family in Vraj. And Chandravali Sakhi, so Vrishbhanuji, I think they were 4 brothers. Other 2 I don't remember, but one was Chandrabhanuji and one was Vrishbhanuji, of course. So Chandravali Sakhi was his daughter. But again, she got transferred to this thing, to Vindhya Parvat's wife's womb. And then from there, she was thrown into Jamnaji. And then she spent 5 years in Vidarbha Rajya, because the king of Vidarbha, he saved her. And then again, with Yogmaya's instruction, so you remember Jamvanji from Ramji's story? He got her, and then he took her all the way back to her parents in Braj. So she was Radharani's cousin, and Chandravali, she's so cool. Like, because they're competitors and all, but their pastimes are really nice. And even one day, I'm sorry, I'm speaking a lot, but I think Raghunath Das Goswami, someone used to bring him in buttermilk in leaves, or maybe I'm taking the wrong Goswamiji's name, but I think it's Raghunath Das Goswami. So, and he's so devoted to Radharani that there is a kunj of Chandravali Sakhi. So he never goes to that kunj because he's Radharani's eternal servant. Because of course, Goswamiji is like a gopi or manjri actually in Golo. So they are like basically 2 teams, and I don't know much about it. So one day, so a devotee used to bring him the chas or buttermilk every day in those leaves. And the other day, by chance, so he asked that, from where did you get this thing, the leaves and the buttermilk? So he said, and buttermilk also was from his home or somewhere. Only the leaves that made the bowl for the buttermilk, they were from Chandravali's kunj. So he was so angry, he threw it. He was like, don't you dare to bring me anything from Chandravali's kunj. So, all our like Goswamis and Lalita Sakhi and all, they are very strict with Krishna and the other devotees. They love Radharani. But of course, at the same time, Chandravali ji, she's like second closest to Krishna after Radharani. Like, sorry, I blabbered a lot, but that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Thank you. Very well.
Anyone else? Jitendra Prabhu, Vishal Prabhu, yeah, go ahead.
I want to know, Vrishbhanu is Surya Dev, it was mentioned. Is he sun god? Vrishbhanu?
Yeah, sun god, yeah.
So Radharani is daughter of sun god.
Yeah, in a way. Or maybe just in one kalp, but so Vrishbhanuji, he represents Surya Dev, and also so the link of Lalit Madhav, in that it's also mentioned that Radharani used to worship sun god. Like, so it was mentioned that, remember the whole Cheer Haran Leela, like the gopis prayed to goddess Katyayani. So that was, in that it's mentioned that it was Chandravali Sakhi's team who used to pray to goddess Katyayani. And Radharani, she used to pray to Suryadev, but that I have not read much about it. So, but yeah, he was sun god.
I heard Radharani gives Shamantaka jewel to Suryadev. So because he was his father, that's why.
That story I don't know. Sir, you might be knowing. It was Satyabhamaji, I think.
Yeah, Shamantaka was Satyabhama.
Yeah, her father. Yeah, sorry.
Can I add something?
Yes, yes, please,
Sure.
Suman Prabhu, we need you.
So, as far as I know, I think in Vidagdha Madhava, Rupa Goswami says that once Krishna leaves Vrindavan, all the gopis, especially Radharani, gets very high fever, and they also ultimately leave their bodies and take birth. I mean, they manifest in Dwarka, and Radharani manifests as Rukmini Devi, and Chandavali manifests as Satyabhama, and their natures are also the same. You see, so and then Satyabhama, I think the Samantaka jewel is the continuation of what Satyabhama does. This is a small instance that I've read and heard, but if you want me to verify, I'll try.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. I think it was a little bit. I remember that. So Satyabhama's father and Krishna, somehow they. I think Krishna, once he fought with Jamvanji for the Shamantaka money, and then somehow Satyabhama's father had it, so he wasn't giving it to anyone, and he was little proud. So then, but then something happens, and somehow Satyabhama, she marries Krishna, and then as a gift at the wedding, then he gives Krishna the money. But there are a lot of things I missed in that.
But I heard like initially it was given to Balramji and Balramji gives to Radharani and Radharani to Sun God, and then Sun God gives to the
Satrajit, yeah.
Nice.
So I
And
didn't
then
know like why she gives to the Sun God. That's what I was asking.
Mm.
Sat-
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much. These are some pastimes that I had never heard of. It's really nice to understand Radha Tattva. One question I have is I had heard somewhere that the water in Radha Kund has come from the tears of the gopis because they experienced the separation from Krishna. So is that true? I mean, is there any basis to it?
I've just heard this part that when the gopis used to cry, they used to fill up the kunds. But I've not like come across like a particular lecture or something. But like the locals, they say that the water is the tears of Radharani and the gopis. Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording now.